Welcome. Thank you for coming at this presentation dedicated to open innovation and ocean. I'm Joris Guffroy and I'm the project leader of the Blue Living Lab by Nausicaá. Nausicaá is the largest aquarium in Europe, but it's far more than just an aquarium. It's really a full experience. This is why basically the Blue Living Lab has been created to promote blue solutions and the blue society as a whole. So the information that I'm gonna share with you today, it comes from partners and customers that I met for the past few months and with whom I have discussed. So before going into the details of the presentation, I will share with you a quick minute video in order to frame correctly the content of this presentation. So if you're ready, we can go for the video. Thank you. Thank you. So, after we went a little bit far, so after this quick context has been set up, we can see better on this map where we're located. So basically, Nausicaá is full north of France, in front of England, in the city of Boulogne-Sur-Mer. You can see there that it's a full coast where we have three major ports. We have Boulogne-sur-Mer, Calais and Dunkirk. Boulogne-sur-Mer is more specialized as being the first fishing port in France in terms of tonnage. But it's also the first transformation place when it comes to sea products in Europe. Calais, for its part, is the first passenger port here in France. And Dunkirk is the major hub when it comes to energy importation, but also goods transportation and copper import. For a more visual approach of the port looking like, you have here on the top right the port of Dunkirk, on the bottom right the ports of Calais, Boulogne-sur-Mer is on the bottom left, and you can see Nausicaá located in Boulogne-sur-Mer here, and we have in the middle the major attraction that we have in Nausicaá, which is a 100-meter glass showcasing the archipelago of Malpelo, which is located basically in Colombia. So you can just sit there and enjoy like a living cinema, basically. So, Nausicaá has been created in 1991. Nausicaa's mission is to discover and love the sea. It's an element of life, but it's also a source of wealth for today and tomorrow. We are initiator and promoter of the concept of blue society, a society that offers solutions for the future of humanity, and everything coming from the ocean. Economically, Nausicaá is plays an essential role in the tourist attractiveness of the region. And the dynamism, because we have 850,000 visitors per year visiting Nausicaá. Sorry. Scientifically, Nausicaá develops breeding programs in order to benefit to other aquariums, but also natural areas. Finally, pedagogically, Nausicaá is a partner of the French National Education in order to promote the awakening of civic awareness among students. So we are working on 4 pillars: sensibilization of the blue ecosystem, protection of the species by showcasing how fragile they are, raise the awareness around the ocean and the fragility of the ocean, and make science more accessible. A few years later, in 2019, has been created the Blue Living Lab. So it's basically a program inside Nausicaá where we promote open innovation, that is to say, advocating for collective intelligence, use everybody's strengths in our ecosystem in order to create solutions. So we are supporting projects that are only sustainable and that make a link between human and the ocean. We have an incubation service in order to support projects linked to the ocean, and we support all TRL's startup. We are just a tool that the startups can adapt according to what they need. If they are in project launch, in ideation, we can help them. The Blue Living Lab involves many complementary experts thanks to our ecosystem in order to answer the demands of the territory. Finally, we offer services to companies or for the region, for example, through various services such as market studies, because we have directly inside of our exhibition path tablets that are here in order to receive feedback from the visitor, so we can adapt and personalize market surveys in order to have the answer the company's need, for example, if they launch a product. So this is what our ecosystem looks like today. So you have the Blue Living Lab in the full middle, and around everything that is gravitating around the Blue Living Lab. So you have Nausicaá as the aquarium at first, the industry investors that are here to support the infrastructure. You have the European Union with a lot of different European projects that we have here at Nausicaá. Regional government to support the region and the attractiveness and the tourist attractiveness of the region. Project leaders that have new ideas and that we wish to support through our program, but also researchers, universities, and finally the visitors, the users that are here to learn more about the ocean, to understand what is happening under the sea actually, and that they are very often with their family trying to transmit some values. Here is a non-exhaustive list of our different partners. So you have the region, competitiveness polls, Respect Ocean, which is an association of various actors that protect the ocean. By discussing with different partners, but also customers that I met for the past few months, we noticed some challenges, some issues that were directly linked to political, either ecological, on the ecosystem, on the customer, or on the organization. So, sorry. For example, at first, for Brexit, we are directly concerned with the Brexit because we are on the channel directly on the water between France and the UK. and there is a real uncertainty when it comes to the allocation of various fishing zones for French fishermen that will be left lost or undecided. Climate change, as you all know, impacts the society as a whole, from the citizen but also to politics and companies. Fishing stocks are directly decreasing due to also climate change but also overfishing. Consumption on its side is not always led by the importance of the stocks that we have directly on our coasts. For example, in France, we have 80% of the products that are imported that are for consumption. 80%. That is to say that French people do not consume the fishes that they have on their littoral. So we created at Nausicaá, for example, a program which is called Mr. Goldfish in order to value sustainable consumption according to the seasons, to the stocks, to the maturity and the size of the fishes. When it comes to decarbonation, as you all know, carbon neutral policies are everywhere. We have to meet the rising degrees objectives determined by the EU. So it's a very big stake when it comes from maritime transportation, which is the #1 way of transportation in the world. Traceability for customers, consumption evolves. People want to know more about what they buy, from who, when, and under which conditions. Money is not only a tool to buy right now, but it comes like it translates a certain conviction from the people. They buy to support, they buy to translate their conviction. So at the local level, here at the Blue Living Lab, we are supporting the implementation of the MSPFD in a sustainable way, the Marine Spatial Planning Framework Directive. Then, if we go more on a local level, we have a very big stake when I discussed with the customers and the partners when it comes to the local region mindset. I identified those problematics directly when I met with them, and we have, for example, a serious problem when it comes to attractivity of the sector, of the fishing sector in seafood processing. There is a big issue with the difficulty of the work, and this is why the region decided to create Boulogne-Sur-Mer, La Mer en Direct, the Seeing Direct, which is a local initiative held by leaders from every activity sector who meet once per month in order to make the inventory of which action has been led, what is to be done. And we have also the CMQ, which is a campus of trades and qualification in order to supply valuation and the sale of aquatic products in order to make this job more attractive. When I write renewal of product offer, I mean companies are looking for fidelization. And due to lower fishing stocks and, as I told you, end customer need for fishes outside of the French coast, there is less and less needs of being installed directly on the port for fresh fish. So by companies escaping the port zone and they go a few miles away, for example, close to big roads or big hubs, transportation hubs, we are lacking dynamism in the port. In the example of this renewal of product offer, we have, for example, this company which is called Océan Délices, which has seen the growth of raw fish, and they were looking how to adapt their supply chain in order to meet the demand of the customers. So they were the first to adapt and offer rice with raw fish They took the shot, and basically they are now leaders in Boulogne-Sur-Mer for these products with a very high demand. When it comes to waste, we have, as you know, in the port a very big stake when it comes to waste due to, for example, byproducts of directly fishes that are transformed, but also styrofoam boxes. So there are a lot of initiatives, local initiatives, that translate this willingness of manage better the waste that they are created in order to create recipe for seafood. And finally, technology. Technology is a very complicated topic right now because, as you might know, fishing is a very, very traditional way of doing, and the data are not the problematics towards it yet. It would take time, I bet, to implement technology and digitalization, as you and me talk right now, to those very traditional professions. However, a lot of companies invest heavily in new machinery in order to make the work easier for the workers and to attract new workers to this kind of jobs in fisheries, but also seafood processing. So after checking all the challenges that we are facing in Boulogne-Sur-Mer and on the Opal coast in France, here you can see how we, the Blue Living Lab, are working in order to address the problematics, the challenges that are met from our customers and partners. So basically, by working on the open innovation model, we come to tackle what is done today when it comes to change management and open the minds. Every companies in very traditional sector are very closed. They are closed on themselves, and we are looking to open minds and discuss the challenges, identify them, looking in our network that I showed you just before, who can fit the better in the synergies in order to answer the question, making the connection directly with them, including the visitors. This is where the main part is important. Getting their feedback, collect their ideas, make the ideation from the visitor, including them in the product design. And afterwards, having the pilot and the proof of concept in order to showcase how open innovation can be an answer, and that we can look into open innovation to solve the problematics that are often asked today. So as I told you, we have a chance having a space dedicated to the sensibilization of the ocean since 1991. We have today more than 850,000 visitors per year coming in our walls. It's the second most visited place in North France, in the north of Paris. So many data is actually gathered in our walls. Where do people come from? Why? What is their objective coming to the aquarium? What are their point of view? How are they thinking before they enter in the aquarium? How are they acting after they come in the aquarium? So, is there a change? And we are looking forward to see if we can be one of the reasons why people mentality evolves and if they can change their minds. So here is a quick view of how we have visitors, but they are not only visitors. Visitors for us are also end customers, so they are B2C companies customers, and they have power through consumption. They pay to support initiatives. They pay a certain product that has a certain value. But they are also prescribers. So they are prescribers for public policies, for example. For example, a customer came to see us in order to interact with Nausicaá, in order to communicate about microplastics, because for them it's the end customer, the final customer, who is the force, the strength in order to force the law to evolve. So they are trying to play on the visitor in order to have some laws getting passed. Also, the visitor is very mindful. He is conscious of certain issues going through. They need awareness in order to go towards engagement. They are also educated. That is to say, they are often coming with their family, with their kids, in order to showcase what is going on under the water, what is the life being really like. And by being with the kids, it's a way to pass certain values, and those values, this is what we are trying to get out of a visit in Nausicaá and through the Blue Living Lab. But the visitor is also an opinion leader. That is to say that they are advocating for their cycles, so it can be friends, family, work colleagues, and they might change minds to other people to their own conviction. Also, visitors are creative, but first they have to trust the issues that we are addressing to them. And afterwards, he will be able to be creative in the way he thinks, in the way he acts. And he will address the solutions. And this is the last step, which is the engagement. After all those various stages have been reached, the visitor can be engaged, and he afterwards has the mindset to change things, to think differently, and to create through initiatives but also actions. So by using the Blue Living Lab and Nausicaá, we are trying to position the visitor from a contemplation state, just looking, to go through reflection and afterwards action. We are using the aquarium as a lever, and we are moving away the visitor from pure entertainment toward experience. Sorry. So, after this, you have, is there some solving example of open innovation that we have run for the past years. So by supporting various projects, we had the opportunity to create every year an hackathon directly in Boulogne-Sur-Mer, and we had the chance this year of having one of the winners of the hackathon finish third in the Respectation Pitch Challenge. So it's quite very good news for us and for Bonvent, who is promoting a new ecosystem in order to to have more valorization of end-of-life boats. So they are creating a whole ecosystem in order to compensate this lack of transportation means when it comes to end-of-life boats. Through our sensory analysis, we had the opportunity to analyze the level of acceptance of seaweeds for the end customer, so through our visitors, based on 3 different seaweeds. And all of this was in the frame of the European project Vulgarize. Through our Second tool, so the market study, we aim to create every year market studies in order to give to our network and be able to give them free studies of what do visitors believe, and this particularly on hot topics. So for example, this year we decided to make this market study on raw fish in order to give all the information to companies but also partners of what do people, visitors, think of raw fish and how companies can afterwards reflect these results directly on their company and the way of piloting their business. Afterward, we did last year another study for the region. So they were wondering, how do people have a perception of our littoral? We have in Hauts-de-France region 210 kilometers of littoral directly there, and they were wondering the state, the level of knowledge of the visitors directly by using Nausicaá as a big hub. We have in summertime we have more than 5,000 answers on the market surveys per week. So we managed to have a certain amount of different feedback from the visitors, and we redacted a 40 pages report for the region in order them to take action on, for example, the transportation, the accommodation. Is there enough? Do people know what we have directly on the littoral that is made for them? How is the practice of bike, for example? So we led 4 different market surveys in order to gather all this information and to address the region some recommendation on how to act on the visitor. And finally, we had one of the projects that is still incubated in the Blue Living Lab, which is Coral Artifact. It's been 2 years that they are with us, and he is prototyping. Jeremy Gobet is prototyping coral cuttings supports from innovative and sustainable biopolymers behind the scenes in Nausicaá. So basically we are supporting him by giving the infrastructure, but also giving access to the skills of all the people working on the corals in Nausicaá. But also looking directly in Nausicaá in the tanks that are adapted to corals to see how coral grows on this biopolymer. So this was a quick the first lessons that we had for us for the first years of our living, because we started in 2019. So basically the first lesson that we can draw today is that for every support that we are doing with our project leaders, we have currently 7 projects incubated in the Blue Living Lab. Every are very various. It takes a lot of time to understand where they are, where they want to go, and we need from our side as a Blue Living Lab adaptation and a really tailored approach in order to fit correctly in the ecosystem, and that we know what is needed from us. We are just like a tool, and people can use the Blue Living Lab the way they want. Initiatives, as good as they might be, can be dumped after release. So I have discussed with some people, and if you don't follow directly your project and what you are creating, for example in the port, you will lose traction, and even the people concerned directly by the solution they will stop using it. So in order to avoid this waste of time and money by investing large sums of money to solve solutions, you have to follow, make sure you have traction and the commitment of the stakeholders you are trying to involve directly in your project. The other point is about the shared culture, which is not always the main point today when you talk to different companies. People are more occluded on themselves, and the first lesson is to be transparent and communicate frankly with companies and partners. Basically, you have nothing to hide but finding new solutions to problematics that you might have and that your neighbor might have too. Companies, even if they show that they are strong, they are looking for support. They need more facilitation hubs, and by doing so, you can break the ice with the companies and the way they're seeing you as a tool again to be used as they will. And finally, for companies but also startups, they need market feedback to run the business with confidence. So this is what I explained you with the market studies surveys. They always are in need of being sure that the product that they are trying to launch, that the product that they are looking to maybe is already launched, and they are looking to make sure that it's the right fit for the market, it's the right time, and they are always looking for feedback directly from the visitors and the final customer. So here is the end of the presentation about the Blue Living Lab and how we are working with Nausicaá to translate this open innovation model. Thank you for listening, and if you have any question, please feel free. And if you have questions afterwards, I'm just behind on the booth there, and I can explain deeper how we can help projects but also companies. Thank you.